Here we have the GRIFFIN AirStrap for the iPad Mini and iPad Mini Retina. And what this gives you, the iPad Mini, is an ability for somebody with a smaller hands, the ability to have a single-handed comfortable use. So you've got a strap on the back, which allows you to, without any fingers curling around the side, and I've got very big hands, you've got to imagine my fingers, as it were, weren't sticking out and protruding. So that means you've still got yourself the ability to have landscape, portrait, etc., and very easily pick it up and put it down. So what I'm going to do is to pop this on an iPad Mini Retina. Now the easiest way to do this, to actually do it face down, so you can easily feel it clicking on. And I'm going to line up the microphone and the speakers, and the charging point first. And then I'm going to make sure that I've got it on fully. And you can feel all the way around. And what you have here is a bit of a raised bezel. So you've now got just a very slight lip to the actual unit. So it's very, very snug, but you can see that you've got about a mil and a half proud of the actual unit now. So if you were to then put it down on the screen, although this isn't a screen protector device itself, it does offer defensive screen protection by the fact that if you put it down on a rough surface and it were to be slid around, because that raised bezel is now touching the ground and not the screen, there's no way of scratching the screen. So yes, you can't put it on angles, etc., and it isn't a screen protector, but it does offer protection, and certainly face down gives you an additional benefit here. The rear is well padded. And of course you've got here a stretchy strap. Now it's not so stretchy that it's going to go and give to a great big, don't expect this to be going over a fist or anything, but it allows you to put a couple of fingers in, all or some, so you can pick it up and hold the iPad Mini Retina. And it certainly gives an offer of a level of comfort for holding long term if you haven't got large hands. Now it's actually particularly good if you have got medium-sized hands. So I've got very large hands, I don't need this kind of cover. I personally use the Apple smart cover myself, because I find I can hold my Mini Retina one-handed because I've got large hands. So as you see, I can actually put my fingers in right over the edge. But I can imagine, so I do both with, definitely with small and medium-sized hands, finding this a real benefit where you can actually pick it up on the sides now, because what they've done, they've flanged and enlarged the depth, which is quite an interesting thing that they've done here. So I think Griffin have done a two-pronged attack here, both for having the strap itself, for sliding some or all of your fingers through the back, which immediately gives you the ability to pick it up and hold it very comfortably in any orientation. But if you've got a medium-sized hand, it does mean you've got a far more grip. So if I were to just relax my fingers, and obviously they're long enough to go all the way around, so I don't need this, but if they were to just go to the sides, and you're finding that you're holding your iPad Mini Retina with just the tips of your fingers, and you want that extra grip, because of course it being quite metallic, it's quite slippy, the iPad Mini Retina itself, this then gives a real degree of grip that you just can't believe. It's very, very grippy, so much so that even I can just pick it up and put it down just like that with the pads of my fingers. So it really gives you quite a few options, this AirStrap. It's not something that I use myself, but I've seen my partner use this all the time, and completely gives the kind of level of comfort, etc. for a smaller hand. Makes a lot of sense. So if you're not like me, able to hold your iPad Mini Retina in one hand, and you want to go to a kind of more comfortable one-handed use, because if you're currently having to do this or hold it like this, I don't know quite how people manage sometimes where they can't hold things in one hand. To me, this is just like a giant iPhone. So I think this is certainly an option that you might want to look at. I'm going to just bring in a set of scales and let's go through the weights. I think Griffin have also done a very clever thing here by making it only weigh the same as the Apple smart cover. So quite surprisingly, I'm going to rip my cover off here. Once the scales are zeroed, here we go. So if I just put a standard Apple smart cover on there, you can see it's 69 grams. I'm going to just quickly pop the GRIFFIN AirStrap cover off this other iPad Mini Retina and switch it over. Again, scale 0, and look at that, just over 70 grams. So 73 grams, it's just a little bit over the way to this. So you get something quite substantive. There's a lot of design gone into this, really ergonomic, lots of stretchy points, and all the necessary holes and openings are available for your iPad Mini Retina to work in and out of the case. So what I'll just quickly do, I'm going to just pop one of the Retinas back in just so I can quickly spin around and show you that. Let's take that one out of the way a little minute. So absolutely you can't use in conjunction with the smart cover. Unfortunately, I'd love to actually have both. But what you have here is, as you can see, the speakers, the charger point. You've got your volume controls. They're actually giving a kind of rubberized extension to the case side here. You actually have an opening for the mute slider. Of course, the camera is visible. You have an extension rubber button for the on-off. You have the microphone is a hole, and of course for the headphone jack you also have a hole. So really, all in all, doesn't add anything weight-wise that you wouldn't normally expect or appreciate that if you're using a smart cover or cover at all for your iPad mini. And there's the total 405 grams for an iPad mini Retina with the GRIFFIN AirStrap included. So very good device. I'm getting to hear a lot of good sounds and feedback from the main user. And certainly, if I had smaller hands, I'd really consider this as a a real benefit to aid comfort of holding, certainly longer term holding. If you're using it as a reader, etc., then this is certainly something worth considering. And certainly from the limited use I've also had from it, I particularly like the side flanged increased bits. Although that's not how it sells itself as an air strap. It's all about this strap. I actually think they've done something really clever here, and I think if you've got sort of medium-sized hands, etc., I think you also want to perhaps consider getting your hands on one of these to try and see how you feel. It's not sold as a screen protector, but it absolutely does have screen protector properties. So hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that helps with your purchasing decisions. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment.